I'm Matthew McCabe. Welcome to Miracle Voices. Each episode, we will be delving into stories of forgiveness, healing, and transformation that have come about from integrating the principles of the book A Course in Miracles. If you want to learn more about A Course in Miracles, visit www.acim.org. If you'd like to visit the Miracle Voices site, please go to www.miraclevoices.org. If you feel inspired to make a love offering, please visit us at miraclevoices.org/donate. All donations go to support the work of the Foundation for Inner Peace, the publisher of A Course in Miracles. Now here's your program. Hello, Miracle Voices listeners. This is Matthew McCabe. I'm here with my new co-host, Tam Morgan. Tam, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you. I'm very excited to be doing this now. My mother had set this up for me, and here I am.
Tam's also riding a motorcycle right now, if no one could tell. That was a perfectly right moment.
There it is.
And the third voice you hear is Svava Love, our guest today. Svava, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much. I just feel so happy, so honored, so grateful to be here with both of you. I'm just smiling from ear to ear. Just so happy. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Yes. Well, where are you sitting today, Svava?
Yeah, I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio, at the house called the Peace House. Great. And and I don't know how long I'm staying here or what's going to happen, but right now I'm here and I'm so grateful. We are upgrading a little bit. It's a very old house, needed some tender love and care. So I've been actually full on since I came here about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, from Iceland. I flew in here from Iceland.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's only like 300,000 people in Iceland, I think. I had a layover there once. Go ahead.
360,000.
Yeah, so that's you don't meet many people from Iceland just for that very reason. So what's it like growing up in Iceland? Just curious.
Oh, wow. I was born there and I lived there until I was 14. Then my parents decided to move to Denmark, but most of my childhood was there. And oh my God, it was so, just thinking about it, so beautiful, so mystical. When I was there, here for 2 months recently, I was looking at the Northern Lights, and it's just magical. It has this like very powerful energy, just leaps you to God. Yeah. And I took a tour around Iceland just on my own, and I just cried and cried in the car because it was so spectacular. This nature is just so vast and so powerful. So it just brought me back to my childhood. It was beautiful, mystical, beautiful. Yeah, Icelandic people, they are very, spiritual, open. They see elves and trolls, and it's just very natural to be in that, on that path. So just very grateful for
that's cool.
For being born there. And it was wonderful.
Beautiful. I've always wanted to see the Northern Lights. And I think anyone who grows up around the Northern Lights has to see fairies and elves and all sorts of wonderful things because they live amidst the Northern Lights.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's beautiful. Yeah. I was so grateful because actually it was just 3 days before I left that I had the gift from God that the Northern Lights appeared outside my window. I was just sitting and I had heard that they would probably appear that evening. And then I was looking out the window and I said to God, okay, if they're going to show up, please just let them show up outside my window right out here. And they did. Half an hour later, they did. I was like, oh my God, with goosebumps, like, wow. And then I jumped. I was in my PJs. I just jumped in the jacket and my shoes and I ran out and took spectacular photos that I posted on Facebook. And it was amazing. So I got this gift from God just before I flew to the US. So it was so beautiful.
That's great.
Remarkable.
Yeah.
Well, Svava, tell us how A Course in Miracles came into your life and a little bit about your journey.
Yeah. Well, it came into my life exactly this month, 6 years ago. I was at a place where I was desperate, basically. I had been studying all kinds of spiritual pathways, taking countless courses and all kinds of things for about 15 years. My mid-20s, I started meditating. So it kind of started there. But I was at a place where I was so desperate. I basically had given up on life. I was just on my knees and I just prayed to God that there must be a way. There must be a way for me, something that will like help me to have consistent happiness, to be at peace. And I had a journey where I had many depressions and ended up taking a lot of medications and all kinds of mental illness diagnosis, very, very intense. So I was on my knees and prayed to God for a miracle. And it was the next day I was watching a video with Eckhart Tolle, actually, and he mentioned A Course in Miracles, and my heart just like bursted open. I felt like, oh my God, this is the answer. Thank you, God. I felt like there was God answering me. And I was living in Denmark at that point, and I got the book in Danish, and I opened up the book, and then I heard in my mind, no, Svava, you have to study this in English. And I was so clear voice. So I just closed the book and I ordered one in English and waited. So I started just reading in English, and I only had my school English. I was not used to talk or anything. I could read, but it was pretty difficult to read the course and not like so great at English. So I was with Google Translation next to me and took it just step by step. And it was so amazing. I just started hearing so clearly directions and guidance. And for example, I had, like I mentioned, all these medications. I heard in my mind to let go of that, and I would be helped let go of that. And I heard just how much what to throw away right away and what to like reduce the doses. And I just followed the instructions, and in 5 months I was out of everything. So this book just completely changed my life. It was A Course in Miracles. I was so grateful. Like God was holding me and just guiding me through it all, and this Holy Spirit speaking to me. And I just don't know. It's like beyond words how grateful I am for A Course in Miracles. So happy, so happy. And everything went pretty fast for me. I went to a retreat with David Hofmeister in Holland. I had not traveled on my own, and I was so scared, but it just showed up on my computer. I had not even been following him as a teacher. And but I felt that I was supposed to be there, and got so scared, tried to cancel and everything. And that email just disappeared. And I went to Holland, and so many miracles. And just in not a long time, I just let everything go in my life. I just went all in for just finding the truth. It was my prayer. I just want the truth. I just want to be happy. There must be a way to just live a happy, beautiful, peaceful life. So I just went all in to find that within, So yeah. So this is kind of a short version of how the course came in my life. Yeah.
That's amazing. Now, you were starting to get direction or kind of intuitive direction. Had you gotten anything like that previously that prepared you for it, or was it a little bit of a shock?
Like recently?
No, like you said that you picked up the course and you said that you felt like a voice was talking to you, or intuition.
Yeah. Actually, since I was a little girl, I always I was not raised Christian in that way. We didn't go to church or anything like that, unless it was a funeral or wedding. And but I always felt Jesus like very, very close to me. And it actually happened when I was probably around 2 years old. I was living with my parents, with my grandfather, and in his hallway was a photo of Jesus knocking on a door. And I remember this very clearly. My dad was holding me in his arms, and I pointed at this picture and I said, "Who is this?" And my dad answered me, "He is the best friend to all children in the world." So I took that as like he was my best friend. And I started talking to Jesus and praying to God. And I had friends that were Jehovah's Witnesses, and my uncle was a Pentecostal Christian. So I began actually going to different churches with them. My parents allowed me to just go. And I love to just listen to stories of Jesus and singing to Jesus. And when I was 5, I think I asked my parents to go to Sunday school. So I started doing that because I so much love to sing to Jesus and to God. So I had always prayed and had, connection in that way and direction. So it wasn't like very unnatural to me, I must say. But when the course came and this voice became much clearer, it became so direct and clear to me. So it was different. It was like the channel got more clear and open. That's probably answering it.
That's nice to have kind of that built-in GPS.
Yes. and as it became clearer, it kept leading you to the different places where you are today. And I've had that similar feeling of the more, for me, the more I do the daily discipline of the course and the lessons, that channel. I remember my mother used to say that in the beginning, when Helen was listening to the dictation of the course, at first it was like a rusty faucet, and it wasn't so, the water wasn't so clear, and so she would have to ask again and go over it a couple of times, whereas later the channel just became clearer and cleaner, like clean water then coming out of a faucet. And I know that's my experience, and I wonder if it's yours too in the daily practices, and that keeps opening that for you as well.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like spirit, Jesus, God. I sometimes use God or Jesus or spirit, but it feels like it's integrating me more and more. Like I'm becoming that, and much, much clearer. Like the voice is closer and clearer. Like it's becoming who I am. And it is who I am, but I'm getting more and more clear about that. The oneness of being one with the Holy Spirit, being one with God, one with Jesus. So definitely it's my experience. The more I practice, the more I tune in, the more I listen and follow, even though sometimes it seems crazy, but it strengthens the channel. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Trusting that which seems crazy when you felt like you used to be crazy. Especially with any type of diagnosis of mental illness and this and that, and to find the truth that isn't crazy is such an extraordinary path and gift. I have so much compassion for that, because it's a realignment and a correction. But then you're listening to that deep, truthful voice that's telling you things that feel like, no, do I really have to do that? But the channel's so clear, one realizes it's not have to, it's choose to, but that does start to become integrated and one with everything, where there's not the same questioning anymore. And it sounds so beautiful what's happening to you in that. And I know it also comes straight through your music. There's no question of how one you are as you sing. And release into that. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I don't know if you have any ability or desire to even sing a little something during this, but would be very welcome if you want to.
Or I could always put an MP3 in here for anything you would like the audience to hear if you're not able to now. So either way is fine.
Yes.
Because Svava, I had a situation for many months where your song, The Holy Instant, anytime my phone would like have a call or a text, that song would come on and start playing on my phone. And it was like, this is like speaking of like an elf or something, like there's an elf in the phone and it was playing your song. I told you this like a months ago. And
like, did you program it, Matt?
I did not program it to do that. I don't even know how to.
Oh wow, that is so funny. Yeah, Spirit just reminding you of being present. The holy instant, Matt. The holy instant.
That's fantastic. You know, I mean, the initials for a holy instant are hi, hello.
Exactly. That's amazing. Yeah. Oh wow.
Well, could you do that to my phone, please?
Sure.
I don't know how to do it.
Ask and it will be given.
I'm asking. Let's see what happens next. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll recheck in about that.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead, Tam.
I was just going to ask. So, your path now. Do you have any plans within this, or are you in the present so much that it's just unfolding?
Yeah, I would say that it's just unfolding for me. I don't really have a plan myself. Svava doesn't have a plan. I learned that is just in the way if I try. And but what I've been hearing, you know, I heard a while back that I would make 3 albums, and that was completely unthinkable for me. It was like, what is going on? I don't know how to sing. I don't know how to play instruments. I don't know anything. But I followed that voice. I even saw the covers, how they were supposed to be, and the names of the albums. And I finished the last one here in the beginning of September, where I heard to go to Iceland, and I had this amazing trip. I heard that it's time to step into your certainty. So I went there on my own, traveled on my own, and it was absolutely amazing, just following the guidance, meeting amazing people. And these 2 months I was there, I met so many people on the spiritual pathway. Only 2 people that knew about the Course in Miracles. So I was kind of sharing about the Course and invited to sing at some gatherings. And it was just so amazing. And then I heard to go back to the US, and my feeling I've been hearing for a while, and hearing it's time now to write a book. So I'm actually working on a book. So it's just been so amazing because, you know, like you probably know, I am not trained singer, songwriter. I didn't do any of this. I used to love singing. I sang in a children's choir when I was a girl in Iceland, and I loved singing to God and Jesus, but I had never imagined this. And so I had a lot of forgiveness lessons with Jesus of all these guidance and all these resistances came up about doing this music, receiving these songs, so intense. And it's been a deep ride, and all my unconscious beliefs and fear, and, you know, coming up, fear about people performing and, you know, singing in front of people, just appearing in front of people, and unworthiness. And, you know, I had so many anger conversations with Jesus about all this with the music. But this has been such a blessing for me, been used to wash away all these false beliefs about myself. So yeah, quite a ride. But for me, it was just like this willingness to follow the directions, to follow anything, even how crazy it sounded, just to do it, because I felt like, Svava, you have nothing to lose, Right. You were so desperate, you are just going to check out. So you have absolutely nothing to lose. You might as well just follow everything, even though it sounds completely insane. So it's starting to be very joyful about it, and sometimes it doesn't, quite often it doesn't go like I think it's going to go, but it's always a miracle, it's always a choice for me in the moment to choose the miracle, to choose peace. And yeah, so I am working on a book, and we'll see how long that takes, but I'm just taking it step by step. And I write a lot of poetry as well. The music, I have received few songs lately, but it's kind of on a maybe on a hold or just not the direction right now, but I'm more like writing a lot of poetry and then writing on the book. And yeah, so it feels like that is the direction now. Yeah.
That's beautiful. The two things that I wanted to share with you is, one, I don't know if you're aware that Bill Thetford was also very, very, very concerned around public speaking, and he was extremely fearful of it. Mm-hmm. And so before he went in front of people that, of course, my mother helped set up him talking about the course, he was so concerned. And that's where the message that we did earlier today, I am here only to be truly helpful, came in. It was given to him to turn over that. In fact, Matt, I don't know if you want to bring it up just to read it again to share with everyone, but this was given to Bill Thetford in order to overcome that fear of public speaking. And it's really incredible. The other thing is that I love how you said you're following your path of certainty. And that's just so beautiful. And I would love, Svava, if you could read this aloud.
Yeah.
And we'll sit with you with Bill Thetford. He'll come in too to I know you're mostly over this now, but still it would be a good share for everyone, I think, to hear what was given to him for that fear.
Thank you. I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent him who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because he who sent me will direct me. I am content to be wherever he wishes, knowing he goes there with me. And I will be healed as I let him teach me to heal. Amen.
Amen. That would be beautiful. I'm sure someone has made that into a song, but I have not actually heard it.
Yeah, I think so. It must be. Someone has made it to a song. Yeah. Yeah, some of the songs I have received are directly from the course, like the Holy Instant song. It's I just prayed and opened the book in different places and wrote the lines down, and then together it became this song. And I even heard to wait with the melody. The lyrics came first, and then a few weeks later I heard in my mind, now it's time for the melody of this song. So I brought up the lyrics on my computer and just started playing the guitar, and then the melody came. Yeah. So some of the songs are directly from the course, and some the Spirit has just given to me, channeled. But it's all the teachings of the course. All the songs, are inspired by the Course in Miracles.
Where do people find your music? Is it's on iTunes is where I purchased it, but is there any place you kind of send them for people that are interested?
Yeah, well, it's basically everywhere. iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, and, basically every online streaming services. And that is just under my name, SVAVA, Svava. And it's also available on my YouTube channel, Svava Christine Love. So I have uploaded everything there too. So people can just freely listen. Yeah.
Well,
I was guided from the beginning to just give it away, and for everyone to just be able to listen to it and not copyright it either. So so it's all just free. I'm just happy it just goes out.
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you.
Incredible. Thank you.
Well, Svava, would love to hear your story of healing and forgiveness.
Yeah. I was praying about that, and I would love to share, with how it all came with the music, because it was around 3.5 years ago. I began hearing songs in dreams and in my mind, and we were Living Miracles, David Hoffmeister. We were gonna have a retreat in Mexico. The end of May. It's probably 2018, I think, and I began hearing a lot of songs, and I heard in my mind to start playing the guitar, and I didn't have a guitar, so I borrowed a guitar, and in only 2 weeks, I received 12 songs, and I heard that I was to play at this retreat. And I was just so new, and I like all my life, I've been kind of a perfectionistic, and I wouldn't do anything unless it was perfect. So I barely ever did anything. And this was just so way out there. And I, when I was playing the guitar, I couldn't even move my fingers fast enough. So it was like, I was so angry at Jesus to tell me this, but I also knew in my heart that I had to do it, that was my healing. So I, at this retreat, I played the guitar and sang these songs. And what happened was that I could, all these judgments I had in my mind about my voice, about my playing, about these songs. How can I be singing that I'm the Holy Son of God? And I was just like all these unworthiness coming up. But then when I was singing there, and the participants, they had tears running down their cheeks, and they were just so grateful for all of it. Even I had to stop in middle of songs because I messed up with the guitar, but it was perceived, it wasn't about, the body of me. It was the message that touched people. And I could see, wow, this is not about Svava at all. And we went to a movie theater with a group and watched a movie called I Can Only Imagine. And it's a movie about a man who also was singing and performing and going that pathway. And I closed my eyes in the middle of this movie, and I said to Jesus, okay, I am supposed to be a singer, a songwriter. That is my function now. It was like this kind of arrogance coming up. And then I heard in my mind, no, Svava, you are not to be a singer or songwriter. You are supposed to be a demonstration of love. And that was a reminder of me, brought me completely back to, that is all we are here for, to be a demonstration of love. It's not about anything in form, or it's not about the body, not about any of it. It's just about the love. So at that point, it got so much easier for me because it wasn't the person Svava doing anything. It was spirit doing it through me. So I surrendered to, being done through. And after that, just the practice of reminding myself over and over, it's not about you. This is about God. And then the channel, like we talked about in the beginning, just started to get more and more clear. But it's always this reminder to myself. It's not about the person. It's about, it's about giving. It's about giving love, sharing love, and meeting everyone in that presence of love. Yeah. So that was my forgiveness. I was just praying. My deepest forgiveness lessons have been with Jesus and following the guidance from him. Yeah.
So that takes a lot of pressure off, the way that you got that, like, hey, you don't have to be a singer. You're not doing that. It's just about the love. And that way it's like, oh, I don't have to, there's nothing I really have to do here in form. It's just kind of flow through me, kind of like water through a channel here. It kind of takes the pressure off. At least that's how I felt when I heard you say that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was such a relief. Yeah. Because when you think you are personally doing something and you have to do something, then it goes directly to the wrong mind, then you are personally doing something and you are responsible and you have to do it good and, do all these thoughts. But when you give it over to, no, I am not doing anything. Spirit is doing it through me. I don't have to do anything. I just need to be willing to be done through, to be willing to just let it flow and not question the directions, not question the guidance, not doubting or starting to discuss something with the guy, with Jesus's guidance. It's just do it because he knows best. I don't know my own best interest, So I had just my experience just learned more and more that, wow, when I get out of the way, then everything seems so easy and flowing and such a relief. Yeah. Like you said, such a relief that you're not personally responsible for anything because that is not who you are. Yeah.
And also, the point that you said was so striking, which is, what are you doing it for? And the answer is for love. So it's a full circle of, you're doing it for love. You're opening up to love being expressed through you, and stepping aside from the ego and letting it be a full channel.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a message for how we each can have the opportunity to live our lives that way, no matter what we do or what we think we're doing. If we turn it over to that aspect, everything does get taken care of. Not necessarily the way you expect, but the way the way that unfolds, so that it keeps showing you over and over again. It does seem to have a higher intelligence that knows better than what our
exactly. Yeah. There is so much more, so much more than we can't even comprehend, can't even imagine how spectacular God's plan is. We think we can, but we don't know anything. So the joy of just being in the unknown and just surrendering, following, it's just so joyful. What beautiful life. I'm just so happy for my life. I have no plan. I don't know what's going to happen, where I'm going to go, but I rest in that now.
It's a fantastic lesson, especially for our culture, certainly in the United States, where we feel that we need to know everything. I mean, I always joke, and there have been people who have not been thrilled at me for saying this, but that in our culture, we even had to have suddenly the wave of everyone having to learn how to have a child. And you go to childbirth classes, like it hasn't been happening for eons before we suddenly have to know how to do it, instead of letting the process happen. That moving, I think the times of chaos that we've been experiencing have been some of the disruption of being able to bring many of us to the place of saying, I know nothing anymore. Everything I thought I knew has been turned upside down anyway. And that you find, and that you express, the finding the rest in the knowing nothing, where so many people are disrupted by that and disturbed by that and distressed by that, where actually it's an amazingly beautiful space when one lets go into it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's really, I just saw it's really the only way to live. We are not really living when we are trying to plan, So true living is just being in that just flow and know that everything that you need will just come to you effortlessly. You don't really have to do anything, because you're just so unconditionally loved. So of course everything will be exactly as you need it. Nothing will be lacking, because we are one with God. We are created by God. So of course everything is taken care of. Yeah.
Which is our truth, but very challenging for some to embrace that, because it does require a leap, sometimes desperation, other times just pure, clear choice or spiritual practice. Many ways to get to it. But I remember one of my mother's favorite stories is that she was constantly asked at the Foundation for Inner Peace, what's your business plan? Do you have a business plan? And she would laugh and she'd say, we tried to in the beginning, but when we asked, we were told, why would you even want to have one? Just stay in the present. I will take care of you. And you'll need, I'll tell you what to do exactly when and how and where. And if you knew now what was going to happen with the course in the future, it would be too distracting for you, because you wouldn't even recognize it as it is. And you won't recognize it at some point, because it will take so many other forms. So, did not have a business plan. The only time we ever created a business plan was when we felt we had to be in the quote unquote real world, in this level of illusion, where some people actually really needed to look at that to get a feel of, for any type of donation or funds, like, what direction are you going? And I always called it our fake business plan, to make people feel secure. I mean, it's not that we lied about it by any means whatsoever. It was what we projected, but we all know that those projections are projections, and anything can happen between now and then. And the true way we move is through inner guidance, and no business plan captures that.
Yeah, it sounds like in that situation, you were guided to have a business plan, to be truly helpful, to meet them where they were,
Exactly. But it was funny. It was funny to all of us of, oh, look at that. I look back on it and, 3/4 of the things in that plan did not happen yet. But it did make some people feel comfortable. So that's what that was for.
Wow. Svava, you mentioned worthiness issues that came up, and that's obviously a big issue for a lot of course students. Sometimes we're aware of our worthiness issues, and other times they're suppressed or repressed, and we're not even aware of them. Could you talk a little bit about that and how you deal with that, and when it comes up?
Yeah, it's been something that has been with me all my life, and just be unworthy of anything. Basically, I would I would just doubt everything I did. I was a clothing designer, for example, before, and I would doubt everything, and I felt like I was just not good enough. I was hiding. I got more and more afraid of people. It was like this unworthiness just grew and grew and grew. But Spirit has been using these opportunities in my life these last 5 years with the music to step out there and see that this isn't true about myself, that I am worthy of love, that I needed reflections of mirroring from others that I was worthy, not what I was doing, but just because I am my presence. So it was all these opportunities that I've been guiding to do and step into that was so fearful for me. It was like what I feared the most and walked towards it. That was how my unworthiness got washed away. It still comes up sometimes, I think, but when I think about it now, I don't even remember. But it was following the guidance and basically stepping into things that were most fearful for me to do, that washed away this belief that I wasn't worthy of love. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. You also mentioned early on when you were going to see David in Holland, you had resistance pop up. Hey, like fear and resistance. I actually had the same thing when I went to Mexico. When I was in Mexico and went to visit David, and you were there, and the whole gang was there, and it was almost like the ego kind of throws up this roadblock as you get closer to committing. Like, oh, this is a big commitment step. I'm going to this kind of course group, and there's other people who will be talking about similar things. It's kind of a big detour in your life. Have you noticed other course students that come to events that you're part of with David? They say like, oh, I was planning on coming, and then all this fear came up. Do you hear that?
Yeah, that is very, very common. Yeah. The ego, it knows it's when you start going on this pathway and walking towards what is fearful, then it's gonna, throw everything. And of course, all this, resistance comes up, and rage and projections. And several people have actually, there is one who she flew all the way from Holland. She arrived in Cancun and was gonna fly further to Guadalajara. And she came to Cancun, and this one short flight there was canceled. So she took that as a sign and went back to Holland, because she was in so much fear. So anything that would show up that would the ego could use to to just run away. She did. So, and there are so many stories about that people will just get in so much fear. And because when you go towards the light, then everything is going to come up that is gonna try to stop you. It's all in your mind, but all these fear thoughts stop you from going all the way. So it's very, very common. And my story was that I was just so scared that all these things came up. Even the flight was delayed, and I was going to fly to Holland, and I had never traveled on my own, and I had to take 2 different trains, and I had to take a bus to the middle of nowhere, and the plane was delayed. So everything that I planned just went to so I couldn't use it, and I got in so much fear on the plane, and I just sat and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. And then suddenly when the plane was landing, it was like all this fear just flipped around, and I got so excited it was like my heart exploded. I was so excited. And usually I would not talk to strangers or anything, but I started talking to people on the train. I'm going to this and this place, and could you help me? And seriously, there was this guy not far away from where I was sitting, and he said, my parents live there. I can show you. And all these angels on the way that just helped me get there. And it was just absolutely amazing. But it was a deep prayer for a couple of hours that just flipped this fear around, just miraculously. It was a deep miracle for me. Yeah. It was so fearful, and I didn't know anyone who was going to be there. So there was a huge leap of faith to go there.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad you pushed through.
Sorry, yes. And it also shows that when we ask for help, angels rush in.
Exactly. Yeah. You get all the help, It was so, yeah, exactly. So true. Mm.
We forget that. We really, when we get into that place of fear, we start to feel so alone, and all it takes is one little help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So glad you followed your instinct there, your intuition. What, one of the things that we talked about before we hit the record button is that we're always looking for ways to make the course accessible and practical, because as we go down this road, as we're just been talking about here, is like these roadblocks seem to come up. Something happens with a relationship or a person or a scenario, and then the ego is just like, whoa, it's like you've stepped into the ego bear trap, and like all serenity like is sucked out of the room, and it's like I completely caught in this ego storm. Svava, when that happens to you, what's kind of is there anything you kind of go to, a prayer or a way of kind of disarming the ego storm?
Yeah, I quite often go for a walk, and I can walk sometimes for hours and hours, and then I walk and I pray and I talk to God, and I put my questions up and I ask for help, and it's like like a symbol of walking and feeling the wind in my face, that it's very, very helpful for me. It's like it helps wash away all these like thoughts that are untrue. So that I use quite often. And I also use worship music. I have this worship playlist, like 6 hours different. And I've gone through all the lyrics to these songs. So all of them are like in alignment with the Course. Because some worship music can be like, the idea of suffering and sin in them. But my list is very Course, in alignment with the Course. So I listen to that and dance, and that helps me too. And then doing the lesson for today's lesson, and different things but mostly these three I do to pull me out, and mostly the walk and talking to God, and even go to a park and I talk out loud. It helps me to talk out loud, and then I always get an answer, always get a clear answer, and when I'm in my wrong mind, the answer quite often is not what the wrong mind wants to hear, but the willingness to, okay, I was wrong. I am wrong there. This is not the truth. I'm never upset for the reason I think. And I can choose peace instead of this. Those two lessons are amazingly helpful together. They say it all. Yeah.
Much more constructive than what I do, which is scream into a pillow, then eat chocolate.
Well, that could be helpful too. We all have
Don't take that away.
No, don't take that away.
Whatever works.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever works.
And sometimes you have to get rid of something in order to move forward. And I remember Ken said when there was a story I do remember about a nun, and I'll just go straight to the punchline. She was preoccupied with something, and he basically said, when you have an itch, sometimes it's okay to just scratch it and move on.
Yeah, exactly. It's good. I like that.
Because then you get obsessed with not doing something, and it's a whole other wormhole.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I can do exactly that type of neurosis you just mentioned, Tam. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, this has been wonderful dialogue here, Svava and Tam.
Yeah.
Tam, do you have anything you want to share or thoughts on your mind as we come to a close?
No, I think I've been sharing them throughout, but just the remarking on that release to trust, and what a challenge it seems to be along the way, and what a joke it is when you look back and realize that was the best and easiest thing you could do. And it feels like, Svava, you've been a living example of that and continue to be. And I just really look forward to hearing all that comes from you, whether it's music or writing or just breathing, because I love to see your commitment and how you are being the course principles in life.
Oh, thank you.
And we'll see if we can get the Holy Instant, your song, right in after we're done speaking here. And thanks so much for coming on, Svava. We really appreciate it. And thanks for sharing your miracle voice.
Thank you. It's truly been an honor. Thank you so much.
We live forever in the holy instant, beginning now and reaching to eternity. An instant is all there is. An instant is all there is. Let us join together in the holy instant, here now forever is all there is of time. One instant out of time can bring time's end. For what would seem to need 1,000 years can easily be done in just one instant, by the grace of God, by the grace of God. Let us join together in the holy instant, here now forever is all in the holy instant, that shining instant of perfect release. Here you'll remember God. Here you'll remember God. You will remember God. You will remember God.
Thanks so much for listening today. Please subscribe to Miracle Voices by hitting the subscribe button on your podcast app. If you are enjoying these conversations, please consider leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever podcast app you use. And lastly, please visit us at miraclevoices.org and join our newsletter so we can stay connected. Until the next podcast, I want to leave you with my favorite course quote: "When you want only love, you will see nothing else."